Hi and welcome back. Oh, that's dark. Today we are updating our um, palettes for February. These are all the palettes I use in February. This is based off of how I was doing the E.Y.E.S project pan last year by Deb B. I'll have her linked in the description. But she's not doing it this year, but I still wanted to look over at the end of every month what palettes that I did use the last month. Now February is a short month, and on top of that, things have been a little hectic, and I did not use shadows nearly as much. Well, I didn't do makeup nearly as much as usual, and I skipped out on a bunch of collabs, so this is much heavier into just the palettes that are in projects than usual. But we'll get started with the ones that were used once. We have the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. This was in a random makeup look where everything that I put on my face, including the eyeshadows, were all random. We used this orange shimmer for that one. The look is on my Instagram if you want to go see it. Also from collab, this was from the Singles Road Trip collab. We used the Natasha Denona Pastel, and we used this shade. Surrender palette. I actually used several shades in here, mostly the reds for a Valentine's Day look. Lethal, my third Lethal Singles palette. I used these two. No, I used this one and that same Singles Road Trip, I think. Either that one or the Feline Face Glam. But also with that, I know I used this one from the Lethal 2. Troublemaker, I know was used for Feline Face Glam, and I used the silver from that one. Polar Express was from the random look, and we used the shade Silver Bell. And Devour, I used the shade Consume, and that's actually the base coat under a shimmer for my nails that I have on. For things that were used, for things that were used twice, have the Nomad Chicago palette, and I know both times we're focused on the purples. For the Hella collab, I know one of them was for the Singles Road Trip, and we used one of these two pinks. I don't remember which one, and the other one we had used for the Feline collab, the shade Soot. Also used twice was my Nomad 1 singles, and I know both the looks used the reds, but I don't remember what those were for. Not going to open it, but we used the Soka glitter gel twice, which is in a project. off the top of my head, I'm not sure which project. And used twice was the gold shade from the mini Natasha Denona Mini Gold, which is in Throwback 30. Used 3 times, we've only got 2. I'm not going to open it, but we used the shade twice, which is also in Throwback 30, and we're trying to finish, and we are almost there, but it is loose, and so I'm trying to be careful with it. And I don't remember which project this got rolled into at the end of the month, but at the end of February, but the MAC shade Brulee has also been used 3 times. I believe that's in a 20 or 30 use. What's that? Yeah, that's in the Another Pan Bites the Dust, and that's in for 20 uses. The only one, right? Yeah, the only one that was used 4 times was my Nomad 2, and it's not even in here. It's the River Trail shade that's in Throwback 30 that was in for pan, and we did hit pan, which is why there was only 4 uses on that one. And every palette that's left is in a project. Hold on. Okay. So we're at 5 uses. And again, it's the shade that, well, 1 use was with the red Leon. The other 4 uses were with the shade Noah, which is What's on My Nails. And that's in Throwback 30, trying to hit that pan. So that got 5 uses. And then Tara Moon's palette got used 5 times. Now, one of those was this yellow for Singles Road Trip collab. One of them is the shade Mirage, which is What's on My Eyes Today. And the rest were for this Meteorite shade, which is in a project for 20 uses, I think. No, 10 uses. It's in Deca panning for 10 uses. So we did hit pan in it, but we're keeping going to get those uses on that one. We don't have anything with 6 uses. With 7 uses, we have ColourPop's Lock It Down, and that's the shade Noted, which is in Pan Those Eyeshadows. We've used that 7 times. I need to, there we go. Also in Pan Those Eyeshadows is the shade Ice Crystal. We've used this palette 8 times. This was used in all 8 of those, but I've also used this shade, this shade, this shade, and I think this shade. Nine times is the Moonspell Volume 2, which is mostly for the shade Jillian, which is a project Pan Those Eyeshadows. But I have used several other shades in here. I'm wearing this shade and this shade today. Used 10 times is the Adept Seahorse palette. And this was in Project Level Up, so all of these shades have been used. And then finally, our big winner with 11 uses is the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. Now, one of those was in our random looks when we rolled in Joy, but all the rest of those have been the shade Happiness, as well as occasionally some other shades. So that's it. That's everything that was used, well, since February 5th of when we did this for January. And we'll start keeping track from tomorrow onward till March 5th. And then we will, today's March 5th, until April 5th. And then we'll cover all the palettes used in March. So we hope we'll see you then, and have a good day.